March 1st, 1954. A tiny fishing boat called the Lucky Dragon No.5 floats near Bikini Atoll. Suddenly, a blinding flash lights the sky. Radioactive ash starts raining down, coating the crew from head to toe. They have no clue they've just sailed into the world's most powerful hydrogen bomb test. The fallout will spark national panic about atomic fish, turn these men into nuclear survivors, and give rise to an unstoppable movie monster, Godzilla. This is the true story behind one of Japan's darkest days. In the early 1950s, the United States was conducting high-yield nuclear tests in the Pacific, especially at Bikini Atoll in the Marshall Islands. These tests were part of the race to develop bigger bombs during the Cold War. On March 1st, 1954, a massive hydrogen bomb, codenamed Castle Bravo, was detonated. It was expected to yield around 5 megatons, but instead unleashed nearly 15 megatons, making it the most powerful nuclear device the US had tested up to that point. The unexpected intensity sent deadly fallout far beyond the planned exclusion zone. Meanwhile, the Lucky Dragon No.5 was fishing for tuna a couple hundred kilometers east of Bikini Atoll. The crew had no idea they were about to drift into harm's way. In the early hours of March 1st, the crew of the Lucky Dragon No.5 noticed a sudden blinding flash on the horizon. Minutes later, they heard a distant roar, like an endless thunder. Then came the white ash. Radioactive coral dust and ash began falling from the sky, coating the ship and the men for hours. At first, the crew thought it was snow or volcanic ash, later recalling how it stuck to their skin and hair. Unaware of the danger, they continued their routine, brushing it off casually. But by the time they realized something was wrong, it was too late. The radiation had seeped into their clothes, their supplies, and even their catch of tuna. All 23 men on board soon began experiencing severe symptoms: headaches, nausea, burns on the skin. By the time they made it back to port in Yaizu, Shizuoka Prefecture, they were in dire condition. Doctors found out that they had been exposed to extremely high levels of radioactive fallout, what we now know as acute radiation sickness. While most of the crew eventually recovered, their chief radio operator, Kuboyama Aikichi, wasn't so fortunate. On September 23, 1954, he passed away from complications linked to radiation exposure, becoming the first officially recognized victim of a hydrogen bomb. News of the incident spread quickly across Japan. The fact that contaminated tuna had already gone to market caused what the media called an atomic fish scare. Much of it was recalled and destroyed, but not before a wave of fear gripped the nation. People worried that their food and even the rain itself might be radioactive. Public outrage soared. Memories of Hiroshima and Nagasaki were still fresh. The Lucky Dragon No.5 tragedy reminded everyone that the atomic age was far from over. Demonstrations against nuclear testing grew in intensity, shaping a stronger anti-nuclear movement in Japan. In this environment, a film was quietly being developed that would capture the public's nuclear anxieties. In the very same year, 1954, Toho Studios released Gojira, known to the world as Godzilla. The film opens up with a fishing vessel destroyed by a mysterious force, mirroring the real-life Lucky Dragon incident. Godzilla itself was a metaphor for the horrors of the hydrogen bomb, a living, breathing embodiment of nuclear devastation rising from the depths. For Japanese audiences, Godzilla wasn't just a monster movie. It was a powerful allegory for nuclear fear, fueled in no small part by the Lucky Dragon No.5 tragedy. Tensions rose between the Japanese government and the United States over compensation, responsibility, and the secrecy surrounding the massive hydrogen bomb test. Eventually, a $2 million settlement was reached, but many saw it as insignificant. Beyond politics, the real legacy of the Lucky Dragon No.5 lies in the way it galvanized Japan's anti-nuclear sentiment for decades. Today, the restored Lucky Dragon is housed in a museum in Tokyo, serving as a stark reminder of time when the ocean was turned into a silent battlefield of radioactive fallout. And in pop culture, Godzilla continues to roar across screens, a towering symbol born from the real-life terror experienced by a small fishing crew on a quiet morning in 1954. So the next time you watch a Godzilla movie, remember there's more truth behind those city-crushing scenes than meets the eye. The story of the Lucky Dragon No.5 stands as a testament to how ordinary people can become unwitting victims of global power struggles, and how their tragedy can echo through history and art.